So welcome back, everybody. In today's episode, we're going to see if this fat boy right here can split some of the largest wood that I have stacked up here on the property. Crazy rainy day, been raining off and on, calling for a lot more. So I figured I'd trap myself under the chop shop here, and I need to figure out how to break down all this very large hurricane blown down trees that I have everywhere down there. So when we cut firewood rounds this large, you're talking several 100 pounds a piece. They just start getting ridiculously heavy and dangerous to put on the splitter in full-size pieces. So I need to at least get them thirds or quarters, whatever we can do. Sadly, I don't have any type of vertical splitter, or what I'm really desiring is something to go on the front side of my tractor. We may build one of these in the future where I can use my third SCV, pick one up. You see them on the front of skid steers and other stuff. I would love to be able to go up to these big pieces and just split them with the front of the tractor. Then I have manageable pieces that I can actually load up safely on the splitter. That could be a future build that we'll tackle. But in the meantime, some good old-fashioned manual labor with some mauls here. So Mikey, one of our viewers, has been hooking me up like crazy with Fiskars products here lately. The stuff just keeps showing up in the mail. Mikey, thank you so much. We don't expect gifts here on the channel, but y'all are so generous. So he sent me the Fiskars 6-pound maul. I really like the weight of this one. And he sent me the 8-pound maul. This thing is a beast. So we're gonna use some of these mauls today to see if that's the method for busting these up. It may be that I just have to cut these up with a chainsaw. And I got on Amazon, looked at a bunch of wedges, because my old mauls and wedges, they're horrible. They just don't work. That's why I don't use them no more. This S-Wing, what is it called? Sure Split Wedge. This one had some of the best reviews. You see it's got odd flares and all on it. So we're gonna try it out. None of this is sponsored again. Somebody hooked this up, bought this with my own money. It's none of that right there. I'm just trying to find a way to break down all this wood, because what's gonna happen if I don't find something convenient, I'm gonna wind up leaving it out there, cherry picking around and getting the smaller stuff, and eventually this is gonna rot. All right, let's mark this thing out, cut us some big chunks out, and then you're gonna listen to me pant and sweat, and this fat boy is just not gonna have fun busting this stuff up, but it's necessary. Let's get it done. All right, let's use the old Mingo marker here to get my firewood down to the 16-inch pieces that I like. And we're gonna wind up with probably, looks like a 6 or 8-inch piece on the end that we're gonna cut off. That's fine. I've been saving all my cut off ends because we cook over oak, and I like varying sizes of oak to go on my smokers, so we're not gonna waste it. And let's fire up the old Steel MS462. Even though this is a man of a saw, wood this size tests just about any saw. Man, that's just a workout cutting this stuff. That saw is amazing. But boy, do you have to be careful when you have several 100-pound pieces falling off. You can crush a lot of stuff. Speaking of being careful and crushing things, you've got to watch out for your feet on stuff like this. Today's sponsor is Hi-C Boots. I've actually been wearing their boots for quite a long time. They're rubber boots, slip-on boots that we use every single morning to go out and take care of our animals and deal with wet areas, all the way down to these steel toe boots, which I have been wearing in video after video for a very long time. You can see I have a lot of heavy use on these, and I'm happy to say after all this heavy use, no issues with the soles. They still are nice and comfortable. No stitching is pulled loose. And as you can see, I've already had a couple of accidents. Thank goodness I have steel toe boots. That right there was actually where I dropped a very sharp, heavy piece of tractor equipment. Had I not been wearing steel toes, I very well could have been missing a toe that day. So I just got a brand new pair of these boots in for whenever I finally wear these out. I am pleased with how well these have already been doing. Months and months of use, like I said, holding up very well. Very comparable to much more expensive boots that I've worn in the past. Everything from their rubber boots to their slip-on ankle shoes that we use every single day to take care of our animals first thing in the morning have all held up well. We've even been buying these boots on our own, even though they sponsor the channel. The other awesome thing about Hi-C Boots is they're offering all of our viewers 15% off of their already very low price on these boots. And these boots also come with an industry-leading warranty. I'll put some links down in the description. They have many different styles of shoes and boots. Go check them out, and don't forget to use that 15% discount code that they have offered all of you that view the channel. A big thanks to Hi-C Boots for sponsoring us. Boots and shoes are something that we use every single day, and these have held up well. I'm going to continue to use them. So even though this tree was cut down several months ago, it's been in a solid form. So I'm assuming the moisture is still going to be extremely high. It's best to split like this by hand, stuff that's very well seasoned, but I need to turn that big pile down there into some firewood. I may have just stumbled into a deal recently that's going to require me to sell cords and cords and cords of wood all throughout the year, not just seasonally. So I need to get to splitting in case this still happens. Out of curiosity, I want to see what the moisture is on this piece right here. All right, so let's get our little handy dandy meter here, stick it in. Yeah, just like I thought. Oh wow, it went so high, it just says high. Y'all, it went over 50%. So the further I pushed, that was 32. I even seen 55% before it went high. This is an absolute green tree. It's reading so high. So that just goes to show if you store all your logs in log form, don't cut them up, they will actually stay good for a long period of time, not rot on you, but they're gonna hold a pile of moisture. Keeping them in 12 to 14-foot logs like I have down there is not gonna allow them to dry out very quick. You gotta split it down and get it in firewood form like over here. So let's get started with the Fisker's 8-pound maul. I can foresee this one wearing me out really quick. That's why we're gonna start with this thing. All right, I'm probably gonna take the mic off because you're gonna hear so much panting and breathing, but let's get started. We'll see if we can bust down the middle. Otherwise, it's best to honestly take pieces off of the side and work your way down to a smaller piece. But I know a lot of people like seeing that split and crack right down the middle. Let's see how long this takes. Dang. Well, after hit and hit and hit, we've gotten nowhere, which is exactly what I was predicting. Let's see if we can take a chunk off the side even easier, which is the proper way to work down a firewood round, in my opinion. Right into my chainsaw. Perfect. All right, you see that? One blow, firewood coming off. That's an easier way to work stuff down. Yeah, like I figured, 8-pound maul's wearing me out. I am starting to see some cracking. Oh boy, I'm out of shape. Out of curiosity, let's move to the 6-pounder. So we lose the heft and mass here, but we should pick up a little speed and a little less fatigue on the body with the 6-pounder. I can already tell you I like swinging that one a whole lot better. Oh, nice. About took the camera out, but a couple hits. There goes a large piece. There we go. All right, I am really liking the 6-pounder. There we go. Yeah, I really do like this 6-pounder. Now we're talking. Boy, this thing's getting after it. All right, after a quick water break, we're back. We're starting to get into a really bad knot down there. It's gonna make this difficult to split. Let's put the 6-pounder up, although I can already tell you, that's my favorite Maul, without a doubt. Let's ease back to the 8-pounder, and let's see if we can work this piece in half. I don't wanna keep working down the small chunks because it's just wearing me out, no need. If I can get a piece like this in half, that's what I'm looking for. I can safely put that on my log lift on my splitter, and then let the splitter do the remainder of the work for me. Nope, wood's so spongy and green, we're just bouncing off of it. Go back to 6-pounder. That doesn't like we're cracking it either. Splitting green wood is so difficult. All right, I've been working this big piece down with a Maul, and I cannot get it to split. It's green wood, has a knot in it. So let's see if this wedge right here will make the difference. That's a sharp wedge to do that. Man, oh man. Well, as you can see, this keeps popping out, but this is very green wood. This may not be gonna work. Well, that's mighty disappointing. I can't get this to stay in that green wood. It just keeps popping back out on me. I got an idea. Well, I kind of feel like I'm wasting too much time with this. Cutting down the side like that's not my favorite method. Puts a lot of strain on the saw. You're wasting some wood. Typically we call that noodling, although you got to kind of flip the log on the side and cut, pulling the grain out, and it'll throw big noodles everywhere. I didn't cut all the way through because, well, there is rock down there that I didn't want to hit. So let's just see if we can split the last of it with the wedge. Yep. That might be how we have to work these bigger ones down in the future. Just put a little more work on the saw. Of course, the other option's to continue to bust and work these pieces around with the Maul like I was doing earlier. That's just a lot of work. I'm not trying to avoid the work. I need the exercise, but you got to stay a little productive with all this stuff too. All right, so today's video is all about figuring out how to get these down to get on the splitter. So I need some production aspect in this as well, not just the exercise portion. So let's try something new. We got it on its side. Let's grab the saw, let's noodle down, pulling the grain out. We should see long strips. Should be relatively easy on the saw. We won't go all the way through. Let's just see at what point we got to get to quit working the saw so hard, burning the fuel. Put a wedge in, pop it, do it to a couple of other sides, get on. If that winds up being the most productive and quick way, that's what we'll do. So this, my friends, is why they call it noodling. Looks like a pile of noodles. So here's one thing I do like about that technique. I'm gonna save all this. Guess what? Awesome chicken bedding. So as I cut down a bunch of these, I'll do that. No point in working the saw any harder all the way through. Let's see if we can stick a wedge in, pop it with the maul, split this apart, noodle some quick cuts in a couple other sections, and just keep going. This may be extremely productive right here. All right, let's use the 6-pounder this time. And I like to hit my wedge from the side. If you hit it forward or reverse of the crack, it can actually come out and hit you. That would be a bad day. When you tend to hit from the sides, it doesn't want to shoot out this direction. Look at that. Oh, almost through. All right, so it's wanting to stick on me. You can hear it's about to pop open. That's pretty quick and easy to take care of. I should be able to pop it the rest of the way with the maul. There we go. All right, y'all, how's that for production? That didn't take no time to bust this thing out into quarters. That's gonna be my go-to method for dealing with these large pieces. All right, that was a good workout, but again, I'm not looking for a workout. I need it though. I need production, is what I need. I'm looking to start putting up anywhere between 30 plus cords a year. My ultimate goal down the road would try to be to get around 50. We're just going to see how sales are. But again, I just had a potential customer fall in my lap while we've made no agreement or deal that could eat up pretty much every bit of firewood that I have for this year. That's crazy. There's more of a potential here than I realized. I can already see it in the comments now. Real man splits with them all an axe. You can be quicker, yada, yada, yada. If you're splitting a cord or two for yourself, that may make perfect sense. When you're trying to get into the 30 to 50 cord range, production is key for me. I'm just trying to get this stuff broke down as quick as I can to my hydraulic splitter that's gonna process it way faster. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't care. So thoughts here. Learned quite a few things today. I'm really glad I did this test. First of all, 8-pound maul. Love that it's got the big hammerhead on the back right here that makes hitting the wedge easier. But I'll admit, 8 pound, too heavy for me. I'm just too small of a guy, I guess. This wears me out. I can't even begin to explain how much lighter this feels. It feels lighter than 2 pounds difference. I got more speed here, and I couldn't notice a difference between the heft versus speed. I almost feel like this split even better, at least in my hands. The one thing I don't like about the 6-pounder, tiny little head. Although I was hitting the wedge accurately, look at the size differences there. I would love to see the 6-pounder with a little bit more flared out head. They most likely did that to cut down on weight. The wedge, as good as the reviews were, I'm highly disappointed in it. At least for greenwood, that design right there wants to keep getting squeezed back out and popped back out. Now, whenever I'm doing the cuts with the chainsaw, this works beautiful, no issues at all. But if I were gonna try to straight wedge wood from the get-go, no chainsaw cut, this may work just fine on dried wood, but I don't ever deal with dried wood. We're always busting up green and then letting it dry. This, kind of disappointing, although this is gonna work just fine for the chainsaw cuts. Speaking of the chainsaw cut, the noodling, while it burns more gas, puts more hours on my saw, that's the way to go. I'm glad I did this test today. A quick cut with a noodle, probably don't even have to cut as far down as I was. I bet I can only have to cut about the depth of the wedge, stick it in, and we can pop these things apart. Get them quartered up, rolled over here, that's easy enough on my back. I'm on to the next piece. This is actually more productive than I was thinking today. Plus the side benefit of the noodling, y'all. If I can go find somewhere that I can store this out of the moisture so it doesn't mold, this will dry very, very quickly, and now I have all the bedding I want to make after doing this a few times. Or, you know what else this is amazing for? Let this dry in the sun just a few weeks, you have fantastic fire starter right here. So that's a good side product or benefit of noodling. All right, y'all, I'm calling it. I'm beat. It's at the end of the day now. More rain is on the way. It is so muggy. I'm sweating so bad. I could almost go jump in the pool. But this was a good test. I have now figured out my way to be as productive as I can with some basic tools in order to break stuff down safely and get it over to the splitter. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. This was a fun little episode. I love doing things like this on rainy days. Come out here, experiment. Plus I needed to break some of this wood down anyways. Now I know what to do whenever I go grab all those larger pieces. Catch you on the next video.